Hidden deep within the hills of Madagascar's capital lies a place few outsiders have ever seen. A prison where survival isn't guaranteed, and humanity is tested every single day. This is Antananarivo Central Prison, known by locals as Tsiafahi, a place where 4,000 inmates are packed into a facility built for less than 1,000, where time seems frozen, and the line between punishment and despair completely disappears. But beyond its walls lies a story not just about crime and punishment, but about endurance, faith, and the thin thread of hope that keeps people alive. In this episode of Behind Bars, the world's toughest prisons, we travel to the heart of Madagascar, one of Africa's most isolated island nations, to uncover the brutal realities inside one of the world's most overcrowded correctional facilities. Here, men, women, and even minors serve time in conditions most people would find unimaginable. And while the outside world continues to evolve, inside these concrete walls, the system remains frozen in time, trapped in a cycle of neglect and survival.
The first thing that hits you when you step inside isn't the noise. It's the air. Thick, humid, and heavy with the scent of sweat, smoke, and hopelessness. Inmates sleep shoulder to shoulder, stacked on the floor in rooms with almost no ventilation. During the day, they spill into the courtyard, hundreds of them. Some cooking, some washing, others simply trying to find a patch of shade. Food arrives once a day, a watery mix of rice and beans. It's barely enough to keep them alive. For most, family visits are the only lifeline. But with travel costs high and poverty widespread, many inmates haven't seen a familiar face in years. Antananarivo Prison wasn't built for this kind of pressure. Constructed during the French colonial era, it was designed to hold small groups of political prisoners, not thousands of men awaiting trial or serving decades-long sentences. Today, more than 60% of the inmates here haven't even faced a judge. They're detainees, waiting, sometimes for years, just to have their case heard. For them, freedom isn't just distant, it's uncertain. Inside, power belongs not to the guards, but to an informal hierarchy of inmates. The strong, the feared, and the well-connected rise to the top, controlling trade, food, and sleeping space. Cigarettes and mobile phone credits are currency. Water access can spark fights, and when night falls, the lights go out, literally. Darkness consumes the cells, and fear replaces noise. Some whisper prayers, others keep their eyes open, waiting for dawn. But amidst the chaos, there are stories of quiet resistance. Take Jean-Luc, a former taxi driver serving time for theft. When we meet him, he's leading a small group of inmates in a makeshift literacy class. With chalk and scrap paper, he teaches them how to write their names, how to read basic Malagasy. "I lost everything out there," he tells us, his voice calm but tired. "But here, at least I can give something." Around him, men nod, not out of obligation, but gratitude. For a moment, the noise fades, and what's left is something deeply human. The prison's medical wing, if it can be called that, is a single room with 3 rusted beds and a single nurse on rotation. Malaria, tuberculosis, and skin infections are common. Medicine is scarce, and those who can't afford to buy it outside rely on herbal remedies or prayer. When illness spreads, inmates isolate themselves in corners, fearing they might never wake up. The staff, underpaid and overworked, do what they can, but even they admit, "We're just trying to keep people alive." For female inmates, held in a separate wing, life is no easier. Many are mothers, some even giving birth behind bars. Children under the age of 3 are allowed to stay with their mothers,
Tiny faces peer through the iron bars, growing up in a world defined by concrete and confinement. The guards show a softer side here, sometimes helping feed the children or sneaking extra food. But compassion is limited by circumstance. In a place starved of resources, kindness becomes a luxury. To understand Antananarivo Prison, you have to understand Madagascar itself. One of the poorest countries in the world, where political instability and limited infrastructure make justice slow and uneven. For many, imprisonment isn't just a consequence of crime. It's a byproduct of poverty. Some inmates are here for stealing a phone, others for not being able to pay a fine. Their biggest crime? Being forgotten. But even here, hope survives. Fragile, but alive. Every Sunday, the courtyard transforms into a chapel. Hundreds gather to sing hymns in Malagasy and French. Their voices rise above the walls, raw, powerful, defiant. For a few minutes, the prison becomes something else, a place of faith, not fear. The warden, a man named Rabe, has worked here for over 2 decades. He's seen riots, escapes, and reform promises that never came. Yet, when we ask him why he stays, his answer is simple. If we leave, who will help them? He believes change is possible, if the world chooses to look. But outside attention is rare, and funding even rarer. Antananarivo Prison stands as a mirror to a nation's struggle, where colonial-era walls still hold modern-day bodies, where justice moves slowly, and survival depends not on the system, but on the strength of the human spirit. For every story of cruelty, there's one of kindness. For every act of violence, one of resilience. As we leave the compound, the heavy gates close behind us. The sounds of the city, traffic, children, life, feel distant, almost unreal. Inside those walls, time remains still, and somewhere, in the dark corners of Antananarivo Prison, thousands of men continue to wait for justice, for redemption, or simply for tomorrow.